guys, this is Non Lammers of Invoked 101, and today I am doing a video on my FA deck, and it's just now that I'm noticing the camera is slightly crooked. That's a little bit better. So, I'm doing my FA deck. This is a deck that's been sitting in a drawer for quite some time. I had the core put together as I was kind of like grabbing Vendread stuff way back when I built Mio, her Vendread deck. And I just progressively picked up some FA stuff. I tried as much as I could to get some of it, but some of it became pretty hard to get, such as a Dawn Dragster. So forgive me if there's some stuff missing from this. I will talk about some stuff that I do want to change about it. Anyways, if you haven't already, go down in the description, check out our Patreon. Anything you help us with would be amazing. We do have different tiers that get you different stuff. And just that $1 a month would be amazing because it would help out the channel so much and help me finish a bunch of decks such as FAs, such as Altergeist, such as Gravekeepers, and a whole bunch of things. And it also provided me the ability to make more consistent content for you guys. So if you want some of that, go check out our Patreon in the description below. But we'll come back to that, much like we will come back to the extra deck and the spells, because right now we're going to talk about the main deck monsters. So the first monster I play is 3 FA Sonic Meister. Sonic Meister has the standard FA effect, which I will, from this point forward, refer to as the FA effect, which is this card gains 300 attack, gains attack equal to his level times 300, and whenever an FA spell or trap or effect is activated, it gains 1 level. That is the FA effect, the standard FA effect. So when he comes out on the field, he'll be 3 times 4, that's 1200. And then he has another effect, which is if this card is level 7 or higher, it can declare 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So pretty cool, but not exactly the best. This is actually one that I would cut down to 1 if I had some other cards in this deck, which I'll talk about in a second. Next up is FA Whip Crosser. Whip Crosser has a bonus effect, which is your opponent must pay 300 life points to activate monster effects. That's a pretty cool effect. It's kind of like a tiny Red Eyes Flare Dragon, the Red Eyes Xyz, that makes your opponent take burn damage whenever they activate a card or effect. So that's pretty cool. Has the standard FA effect, and then he also has the effect of if he's level 7 or higher, I think it's if he's level 7, I think. If this card is level 7 or higher, your opponent cannot discard or send cards from their hand to the graveyard to activate card effects. So that's pretty cool. So it means he shuts off hand traps if he's level 7, which there's a really easy way to make these guys level 7, like just immediately, and I'll tell you when we get to it. Here's one that I wish I could run at 3, and that is 3 Hang On Mock. So Hang On Mock is pretty cool. He's actually one of the best ones in the deck. So the reason I don't have 3 of this is because he's a short print common from Code of the Duelist, and I was only able to get 2. My friend opened up a box, and he only had 1, so I got his, and then I opened up a few packs of Code of the Duelist, and I only pulled 1. So unfortunately, only 2 Hang On Mocks. If I can get a 3rd, I'd love to play a 3rd one. So his effect is the standard FA effect, and then he has the effect of if he's level 7 or higher, any card sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. So kind of like a Dark Law. He also has 1800 defense, which is pretty cool. Next is FA Dawn Dragster. So Dawn Dragster is another really cool one, or not Dawn Dragster, Dark Dragster. Sorry. I really like Dark Dragster, and I would actually play 2 of this card if I could. I thought I had a second one. I couldn't find my second one, but I would play 2 of this. So his effect is that he cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by controlling a FA whose level has become 7 or higher. Right? By having a level 7 or higher FA monster on the field. So you can actually have one of the synchros on field and special summon this. And then he has the standard FA effect of, the attack and the gaining a level. And then his other effect is you can decrease this card's level by 3 to blow up a card on the field, including your own. So that's pretty cool. It does target. And next up, we have like the reason a lot of people like FAs, which is 3 FA Auto Navigator. This card is nuts. So Auto Navigator, it has the effect of being able to target an FA monster you control, and then you special summon it. So the FA monster, so you target an FA monster whose level is different from its original level. You special summon this, and then this card's level becomes the amount of added level. So let's say we had a level 4 FA that became level 7. You'd special summon this, and this card would become level 3 because of it. So that's pretty cool. Auto Navigator is really cool. And then on top of that, when this card is normal or special summon, you can add any FA field spell from your deck to your hand. So that's pretty dope as well. That's it for the FA monsters. Real quick, Sonic Meister actually should be a, like I said, I'd only cut Sonic Meister to 1. So one more Hang On Mach and one more Dark Dragster, that's what you would take out 2 of the Sonic Meisters for. Because I did say that there was some stuff in here that I would cut, and Sonic Meister is one of those cards that I'd just play the one name. So we'll set the FA monsters off to the side, and we'll talk about some extraneous things, like the Destrudo engine. So I'm playing 2 Destrudos and 1 Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. This is just to make Dawn Dragster like without using your normal summon, because you can make Dawn Dragster and then like pop it up by some levels and then turn it into Motorhome. So that's one of the things you can do with this, and that's the reason that I'm playing the Destrudo package. I'm also playing 3 Cock-a-Doodle-Doo, which kind of works as like a pseudo Destrudo. It says if there are no monsters on the field, you can special summon this as a 3, and if your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you can special summon this as a 4. So, pretty cool effect, and then it's a tuner on top of that. Pretty dope. So it opens up for rank 4 plays, for synchro plays. Pretty decent card. And this was the card that was kind of preventing me from building the deck, because I think Cock-a-Doodle-Doo was an ultra rare that was like $7 or $8 a piece, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't justify that for FAs. That's it for the main deck monsters. We are moving into the spells now. So for FA spells, we're starting off with the field spell, FA City Grand Prix. City Grand Prix is pretty amazing. It's like the best one out of the FA field spells, which, so its effect is that FA monsters you control on the field gain 2 bonus levels during the main and battle phases. Then its effect is that your opponent cannot target FA monsters with card effects. And then if this card is destroyed, you can search any FA card. So this card's pretty dope. This is also the way, activating the field spells is the way that you get the FA monsters immediately to 7. So how that works is you normal summon an FA, because this took me forever to figure out. You normal summon an FA, activate a field spell. Because the field spell was activated and it's an FA spell, they gain a level, and then this card gives them 2 bonus levels while it's face up. So there you go. That's how you get them to 7 instantly. So FA City Grand Prix is like the best one. And then we have FA Off-Road Grand Prix, which is right here. Off-Road Grand Prix has 2 effects, kind of like this one. It's first, during the main phases, it gives your FAs a bonus 2 levels. So not during the battle phase, but during the main phase, which is still pretty good. That's why City is like the best one, is because it gives them the bonus levels during the main and battle phase. But Off-Road is pretty good because it gives it during the main phases. So it gives them a bonus 2 levels during the main phase, and then if a FA monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to pluck a card out of your opponent's hand. You get to randomly discard a card from your opponent's hand. Then if this card is destroyed by a card effect, you get to search an FA card. So that's pretty dope, and that's it for the field spells. I don't run any of the I think it's just called FA Grand Prix. I don't run any of that. I don't think that card is very good. Or no, it's FA Circuit Grand Prix. That's right. And FA Circuit Grand Prix isn't very good. The next card I run is the Quick Plays. So there are some Quick Plays that FAs have, which is pretty nutty. This is FA Test Run. FA Test Run is pretty insane. So what it does is you target an FA monster you control, change its battle position, and if you do, destroy 1 card on the field, which can be your own field spell. Then it has a secondary effect. All the quick play spells have secondary effects. Its secondary effect is that during the main phase, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, which is a clause shared by all of them. All of them you have to wait a turn to activate their effects. During the main phase, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy 1 card you control, and then special summon an FA monster from your deck. That is nuts. And so that gets you out like not Dark Dragster, but it gets you out like Sonic Meister, Hang On Mach, Auto Navigator. It's crazy. This is the best one out of the group. This is one of the best ones. And then the other one that's pretty amazing actually is FA Pit Stop. FA Pit Stop is busted. So Pit Stop says target an FA monster you control, drop its level by 2, and if you do, draw one card. Draw cards equal to the number of FA pit stop in your graveyard plus 1. So if you have none, you still draw 1. If you have an FA in your FA pit stop in your graveyard, you draw 2. And if you have 2, you draw 3. So that's pretty cool. This is a potential plus 2, and that's insane in a deck that isn't very good. You do have to have an FA, but granted, if you can this, and then it has the extra effect, and I'll talk about like how this card could have been abused in other decks via this guy when I get to him. But its secondary effect is that during the main phase, except the 20% to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target an FA in your graveyard, and special summon it. So basically, it revives an FA. It's like an archetype monster reborn, and that's pretty good. But what really sucks is like being like, oh man, I could pit stop for 2 or 3, but I really need to get this FA back. So that's kind of the unfortunate part. And then lastly, I do run 3 FA Downforce. FA Downforce isn't super great. I like having 1 copy in my deck. I do. A lot of FA players don't play this card, and that's because it's not very good. And I'll tell you what. So it says, target an FA monster you control, increase its level by 2 until the end of this turn, and then during the main phase, except the turn it was sent to the graveyard, you get to do the same thing. Banish this card, target an FA, bring it up by 2 levels until the end of the turn. Which seems pretty good in FAs on originality, because this will buff them by 3 until the end of the, it will buff them by 3 until the end of the turn, but they'll still gain 1 permanently, which is pretty nice. But I find that this card doesn't do a whole lot for me, in that I would rather see another card such as like Mystical Space Typhoon or something like that. So I would cut this card down to 1, because I think having 1 in your deck is enough just to be like, oh, well, boom, now it's like a 7 or whatever, or it's like a level that I need it to be, you know. So I think this card is okay at 1, especially since it has the graveyard effect that does the exact same thing. So this card just is gonna go. This is gonna go to 1. I'm probably gonna switch it out with some back row removal. That some heavy Storm Dusters would be nice. I think I still have some heavy Storm Dusters. I'll have to dig around for them. So setting those to the side, we do have some auxiliary stuff. I am playing 3 Dragon's Ravine. This is gonna go as well. I'm gonna cut this down to 2, because I think that 9 field spells is a lot, especially with another card that I'm running. So, but Dragon's Ravine is here to get Destrudo and Dark Worm into the graveyard, much like this other card, which is Dragon Shrine. It's a Foolish Burial for, you know, Dark Worm and Destrudo. That's really it for those. And then 2 Terraforming to search our field spells. That's all it's there for, searching the field spells. And then Monster Reborn, because why not play 4 Monster Reborns, right? It's like, if your deck can do it, do it. So that's it for the FA deck. That's it for the main deck. Let's talk about the extra deck. I don't have a super big extra deck for this. Oh, that's not a card for this deck. Alright, anyway, so the first card I'm playing is FA Dawn Dragster. He's a level 7 generic synchro that has the FA effect, and then he has a bonus effect of being able to, when your opponent activates a spell or trap or effect, you can drop his level by 2, negate and destroy it. So that's pretty cool. He still gains levels with FA spells and traps. He still gains attack equal to his own level, so that's pretty dope. The same can be said about the 3 FA Motorhome that I run. Motorhome also has the FA effect, and then he has effects based on what his level is. So if he starts as a level 9, and then if he's level 11 or higher, he has the effect of being unable to be destroyed by battle or card effect. So combine that with City Grand Prix that says he can't be targeted, he becomes a pretty formidable threat, especially since, you know, he's will be 11 times 3, so he'll be 3,300. That's pretty nutty. And then there's his level 13 effect. So if he's level 13 or higher, which I think this is the only card in the game that recognizes that, you know, there's more than 12 levels. If he's level 13 or higher, you can target an FA in your graveyard and special summon it. That is a soft once per turn. Repeat, soft once per turn, meaning if you can spam out motorhomes, you can, and buff their levels to 13, you can get out, like you can motorhome into motorhome, or you could motorhome into a Dawn Dragster. I think there was actually a combo when this card was revealed alongside the tuner, where you would make 3 motorhomes in 1 turn, and I think that's insane. So That's the FA synchros. They don't have any other ones, just the two, but I think the two are pretty cool. I do have one more synchro. It's Scrap Dragon. Of course, you can run whatever you want in here as your level 8, because these guys can make anything from level 5 synchros to level 12 synchros, and obviously they can go higher because one of them says 13, so play whatever you want for the synchro thing. They're also really good at making Xyz monsters, which is shown not justice by me. I'm only playing the Dreadnought Dreadnoid, which realistically you don't have to play, because if you can get a couple of them to level 10, you can just overlay them. One of the things that people used to play in FAs was Marshalling Field, where basically you'd get your FAs to level, you'd get 2 FAs on the field that were like level 6, and then you'd flip over Marshalling Field and be like, they're level 10 now, and then overlay them for a Xyz monster. Because it only works with machines, and turns out FAs were really good at using that card. They were really the only deck that could actually use that card outside of Trains, but Trains liked their Xyz monsters, so. But yeah, so I just run the one Dreadnought Dreadnoid, but of course you can run any rank 4s that you want. That is it for the FA deck. That is all that I have for it. I really like this deck. I've had some, I've play tested this against Mio and Hermadolces, and you know, it's gone back and forth. The thing I don't like about FAs, and this is something that you need to keep in mind when choosing what decks to play, and this is something that I was not expecting to do. This deck is a headache. So all the math you have to do for the levels, for the spell activations, for when the field spell goes away, you know, you got to keep track of every FA's level, and you got to do their attack points. It can become a lot. And I remember I was sitting there across from Mio, and I had like 3 20-sided dice out on the table on top of these cards, and I was like turning them all the time, and I actually forgot that my 20-sided dice were 20-sided. I thought they were 12-sided, so it threw me off. So this deck is a bit of a headache. So if you're really good at math, this could be fun for you. I don't know. But yeah, I've enjoyed playing this from what I have. I do want to put in some more back row removal, and I think that would be pretty good. And a lot of people like FAs because they have some pretty decent effects on their motorcycles, which, oh my god, their motorcycles are amazing. Being able to turn off hand traps, and also no, you can't, everything in your graveyard is banished, and then on top of that, untargetable, and just insane plays. Unfortunately, this deck was a lot better with Ancient Fairy Dragon, and sadly that card is gone now, so but maybe one day we'll get something like that back for FAs. I would love to see them get a synchro monster that is an FA thing. And they do have a Link monster over in Japan, so hopefully we can get that Link monster imported soon for them. Maybe we'll get it in Savage Strike, since FAs are a synchro deck. Savage Strike is a synchro set, and this is a TCG archetype, so maybe that's one of the imports in that set. Anyways, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. While you're down in the comments, be sure to check out our description for that Patreon link and check that out. It would help us out so much. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.